is amazing. So yeah, and I kind of think of it as like right now women's wrestling is in a really big movement to grow and like be set as official in people's eyes. So in the back of my head, I'm just like, this is NCAA versus NAIA. Let's see who's better. Like, let's get this. It's a whole thing in the back of my head. It's like a whole little show. Anyways, that's all.
Thanks a lot, Diamond. Yelena, talk about how you've progressed as an athlete since going to North Central College. Obviously, it's developed into one of the stronger programs in women's wrestling, and you've had a lot of opportunity at the senior level since you've gone there. Could you talk about the program and how that's influenced you?
Yeah, so I didn't even want to wrestle in college. I was kind of going with the flow, and it's insane the levels that I've jumped going to North Central College. I have a ton of resources at my disposal. I have amazing coaches. We have an amazing athletic director, and all of those things contributed to me jumping levels. Wrestling, my coach is getting beat up in the wrestling room every day, and there's no limit to how much they can challenge me. If I get better, they just wrestle me harder. So, yeah, I'm really blessed to have the coaches and the athletic director that I have. So,
Thank you. Our next weight class, Greco-Roman 130 kilograms, Colton Schultz versus Tanner Farmer. The first question I have is for Colton. So Colton, after high school, you made a decision to continue focusing on both Greco and folk style, the college wrestling, and obviously NCAA finalist and world team member in Greco. How's that worked for you? I mean, that's not a normal progression in Greco, at least. And then talk about how the Arizona State decisions put you in the spot you are now.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not normal. Not a whole lot of guys making teams and still compete on the college level, especially in Greco. But it's been a blessing being at Arizona State, where my coaches are cool and they support me, and they even push me to travel overseas during the season, just in the middle of the year, go wrestle all the best guys in the world. I think everyone understands it's winning national titles sounds cool, but winning world titles and Olympic titles, that's where it's really at. Yeah, I'm just in a great situation. I'm blessed, and it's tough. It's definitely a lot harder than if I was just going one at a time. But yeah, I'm loving it, and I'm having a great time.
Thank you. Tanner, we've read a lot of articles about your progression into wrestling or back into wrestling after playing Division I football. And I guess I want to ask you about your feeling of how your wrestling has advanced since you put the cleats away and put on the wrestling shoes and have really focused specifically on Greco-Roman.
Well, I've advanced in leaps and bounds. Greco is completely different from what I was used to in high school and college, doing folk style. So it was a big learning curve just whenever I came in, let alone, taking time off from wrestling in general. And being able to focus just on Greco, be able to work with great guys. I mean, I've worked with Colton before. I've worked with Kuhn in the past. I've worked with Wes Cathcart. Being able to work with those high-level guys I've been able to make strides I didn't even know I was going to be capable of, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds.
I mean, is it one of your goals to be a much better wrestler than you were a football player? I mean, that's an opportunity here with making world championship teams and things.
Yeah. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to be the best that I can be at it. So my goal is to be the best that's ever done it, and there's no point in doing it if that's not your goal.
Excellent. Thank you. Our next weight class will be 70 kilograms in men's freestyle. Zane Rutherford against Jordan Oliver. Zane, you've competed 70 kilos now for a little bit this season, a little bit last year. Is your wrestling any different? Is your training any different at this weight class than it was when you had to get down to 65? And what kind of strength and power are you be able to bring at 70 that you maybe didn't have at 65?
Yeah, not too much different. Just been able to eat more steak and burgers and stuff like that. So definitely enjoying the cut a lot more and just able to bring all my energy to my matches. So it's kind of nice.
So is there any different approach mentally? I mean, you feeling different, or is it really just the same thing but just a different opportunity?
Yeah, same. Game plan doesn't change too much. Just go do what I do and enjoy the sport. Yeah.
Thank you. Jordan, bringing Final X to Stillwater kind of brings you back home to where you went to college, and people started looking at your career and seeing the great wrestler you became. Could you talk a little bit about this opportunity to come back and compete again in front of maybe fans of yours when you were in college?
It's exciting, right? I came out of high school. The dream was being Olympic and world champion, right? This was the place that I chose that could take me to that level to win a world and Olympic title. And it's crazy how the world comes full circle, right? So I'm coming back, Stillwater, home, sweet home, to hopefully make my first world team and get to compete and put myself in a position to win a world title.
This is a follow-up. I know last year you won the Olympic trials and you weren't able to go to the Olympic Games. How much will it mean to you to make a world team this year right after that experience?
It means a lot, but it's the ups and downs, right? Wrestling is an up and down sport. I got close to the pinnacle of our sport, right? And the ultimate goal is to win an Olympic title, right? And I fell a little bit short. But like you always say, you get back on that horse and you keep riding. So to bounce back and get back, bump up a weight class, and put myself in position to make another team, world championship team, up a weight class, it's really not that different. Like Zane said, though, we get to eat a lot more and focus on our training. But it's been a great year at 70 and not having to go to 65. So I'm looking forward to getting out there and scrapping and putting on a show at 70 kilos and having some fun.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Our next weight class, Greco-Roman 72 kilogram. Patrick Smith against Benji Peak. Pat, I think it's fair to say in the Greco scene, you're one of the veterans. You've competed for a long time. You've made different teams. You've trained in different situations, been all over the world. Do you take a different approach to the way you train at this part of your career than when you first get started when you're back in college?
Yeah, I mean, with every year, right, as your career progresses, you're constantly making little adjustments, right? It's kind of your whole career is just kind of whole thing with trial and error, and you're making tiny adjustments and trying to tweak it to get to the point where you're going to peak and have your best showing, right? And I still feel like I haven't had my ultimate best performance yet, so that's why, even though I've been here for a while, I'm still going after it. So yeah, every year you should be taking a slightly different approach. You don't change the wheel, right? But maybe you take a little bit different approach, because if you're not doing anything different, right, nothing changes, right? So.
Excellent. And at this point, are you feeling good heading into Final X?
Yeah, I am. I really feel like I'm wrestling the best that I really ever have, and that's why I'm still here. So I'm excited to get to compete in a cool stage with a really great opponent, and hopefully it's pretty awesome to watch.
Thanks a lot, man. And Benji Peak, you bring a little bit of excitement to wrestling, and I just wanted to know if that's the way you've always competed. Is it something that you train to do? Is it just a style of wrestling that you found successful? Talk a little bit about your approach to just bringing that level of enthusiasm and energy to your matches.
I mean, I was bred to do this shit, and I'm here to kick butt. And I mean, he's over here telling me that he's been changing stuff up, but every time he goes to Worlds, he goes 0-1. So I mean, I don't know if he's really changed a whole lot. And tomorrow I'm gonna put him on his head twice, and I'm hoping I can do it under a minute. I got a couple bets that both my matches are under a minute, and I'm excited.
Well, with that, I think maybe we'll open it up to the media. I do have a helper who's going to be bringing around the microphone. If you could please identify yourself and your outlet, indicate who you want to speak to, and let's hear from these great athletes. And I see one right back there. Thank you.
Mark Bader from FloWrestling. Pat, I guess just One, what kind of car would you say Benji is if you had to label him as a car? And two, just thoughts on him putting you on your head twice in a row.
Yeah, I kind of end up in these situations quite a bit, huh? The car. I'm gonna leave that to Kamal. So ask him in New York, right? He's pretty good at the car thing. The PT Cruiser is no more though, so just R.I.P. to the $80 PT Cruiser, the Cruiser Bruiser. Happy he's confident, happy he's ready to go, because when two guys both think they're going to win, then you're going to have a really awesome match, and I think we're excited to have that. But I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
Hi, Laura Lay with Reaper Wrestling, and this question is for either Diamond Guilford or Yelena Mekiad. We've seen a lot more women's college wrestlers up on the senior level, and this overlap between the college scene and the senior level. Can y'all speak to the talent that is coming through the college scene onto the senior stage, and the importance of focusing on women's college wrestling and continuing to develop that?
I think I can speak very well about the college scene, being a lady who went her freshman and sophomore year through the college scene, left, and then came back to do her master's and such. It definitely has grown. It grew in that 3 years that I was away from traditional college. And when I came back, I definitely have a story about how I definitely underestimated it. I was like, I've been trained at the Olympic Training Center for 2.5 years now. These girls ain't touching me. And then I definitely had to work. So it was really interesting, and it was really nice, because even going straight from the college scene into the international scene and going to U.S. Open, Pan Ams, senior world team trials and such, being on college level definitely helped me prepare for all that. So I attribute a lot of my success this season to that and the other support that I had. So yeah.
Next, I saw a hand earlier. Right over here, please.
Christian Piles, FloWrestling. Question for Zane. You and Jordan have been wrestling each other since 2015 now. I think 6 total matches. What have you sort of taken away from those matches that you're hoping to apply here? And what are the things that, when it's gone your way, what are the things that you've had to stick to beat Jordan?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't even know what the series is, but he's a great competitor, and when it's more tactical, I think that benefits him. But when I bring my pace, I think that benefits me. So it's kind of what I'm thinking about.
Thanks.
Yeah.
As for Colton, you had a pretty gnarly match against Jordan Wood at NCAAs. The whole tournament was tough, and a lot of great competitors on there, and it wasn't that long ago. So how long did it take to kind of just recover your body and get ready to compete again? And then, what's that transition, and how has that been since March?
Yeah, I mean, NCAA tournament, it's pretty grueling. It's a long 3 days, but it didn't end the way I wanted to. Of course, losing in the finals, so it left me a little upset. So I didn't really take that much time off. I think I took like 3 days. I was back in the weight room like that Thursday after I got back, something like that. But when the folk style season ends, I feel like I get a little rejuvenated. Heading into Greco time, being able to go full-time Greco, not having to worry about people grabbing my legs anymore, just worrying about wrestling upper body, trying to put people on their head. It's the best time of year. Yeah, I mean, it didn't take too much time recovering from it, but I trust my coaches. They always have great plans in place to set me up for success best that they can.
What'd you say, Diamond?
I said, y'all better start coming on questions. It's like 4:20.
Someone got another question? Come on. Diamond's ready to go.
All right, I have a question for Diamond. And Yelena, you can both answer, or I hope you do. So Adeline Gray, when you heard that, one of the legends and someone who's accomplished so much at your weight class is not going to wrestle, how did that change either your approach or what did you just think when you heard that she would not be competing this year?
I was a little bit upset because I really wanted to wrestle her. So I really hope she comes back after, she gives birth to her twins. But, yeah, I just really want to wrestle her. So, yeah, Adeline, come back, please.
Yeah, definitely on what Elaine said. One of the best has left our bracket for God knows how long. So we're waiting for her to come back so then we can just face the best in the world. She's a 6-time gold medalist among other medals. I wanted to face up against her. I missed my shot last year at Olympic trials when I was ranked second. So now I'm just praying that God brings her back over here so that I can get my hands on her finally. But I don't want to seem too loony about it. I'm sorry.
Hey, Benji, people don't normally say that kind of stuff, right? Like in wrestling. I'm going to throw him on his head twice in a minute. Where does that, not only the confidence come from, but just that approach to an interview format like this? Like, you get your feet up, you're cutting a promo. Where's that come from?
I just think everybody be forgetting that we almost got dropped from the Olympics just not too long ago. And when we come up here and when we get on the mat, it's not only about winning. It's about selling the show and bringing people to the sport. And I came up here prepared to talk a lot more, but it seems like everybody's keeping it pretty chill. But up in the UP at Northern Michigan ain't nothing sweet, and we're ready to go. And I love this stuff, so that's me.
Question for Jordan. As I mentioned, you and Zane, a lot of battles. What is 6 minutes wrestling Zane Rutherford like from a pressure, pace, endurance standpoint, and how do you navigate that challenge?
Good wrestling brings good wrestling, right? Pace has, Zane has a very, very physical, hard pace, and he's a good wrestler, right? He can score, got good defense. So I think it has to be a shootout, right? Score, you win. You score more than the other guy, you win. So, pace is great, but offensive pace is even better, right? So very high offensive pace, looking to score, looking to put points on the board. I think that's how you handle that. Either way, it's going to be a great show, but there's not too much game planning. It's get out there, let it fly, and do what I do best. This is what we've been training for. This is a vision that I had in my head, training throughout the year. Even going into the World Team Trials, I knew, right, the possibility of me and Zane coming up from 65 kilos and having to meet in the 70-kilogram finals. And, nothing past Zane. He's a great competitor, and we've wrestled multiple times. So I'm going to be prepared for a great battle.
Thanks.
Other questions at this time? Well, I guess that means it's one-on-one time. So athletes, we're going to let the journalists come up and speak to you. If we find it a little crowded, we might move you to another part of the room. I'd like to ask you guys to hang at least 5-10 minutes in case somebody wants to speak to more than one athlete. And, and then we'll see. We'll let you guys go if everyone's had their one-on-one. So let's have people come up and see who they'd like to speak to. And if we need to, we'll move them to another part of the room. Okay? Thank you. we'll just determine who's ahead, and the second and third match at 7 will determine who gets to compete for the United States at the World Championships in Serbia. They released the schedule today for Serbia, so these guys know what days they'd wrestle on now, after tomorrow, if they're able to make our team. The format for this will be similar to what we've done in other years. I will ask a question of each athlete, and then work our way down. We're going to do a weight class at a time. Then we will open it up to questions from the floor, from the media. I've got another handheld over there that we'll have someone help us pass it around. If the journalists could please state their name and who they represent, and then ask the question specifically to each athlete. And when we're done with that portion, we will then switch to a one-on-one situation, and we can move athletes to other parts of the room as needed. There's not a lot of room up here, so we may end up asking an athlete to go to a different portion of the room, and so people can have a nice interview. We will not go more than 45 minutes, and I'd ask the athletes, if we finish and no one's asked you a question, to hang out just a little bit, because somebody else may want to visit with you. So that's kind of how we're going to go with this. We have had some travel issues with athletes. I do know that one that's scheduled for this session may not be here on time. They were stuck overnight in another city, so hopefully we can get that athlete to come into the next session. I know a number of people, including people on our staff, who had spent the night in other cities because of the travel around the Midwest yesterday. So that's kind of the case for this situation. So Seth may be joining us for this if he gets here up early enough from his flight, but if not, we're going to try to get him in the next segment or make sure he's available in the best way we can. So with that, I'd like to get started. We're going to introduce athletes by weight class, and then ask questions. The media will ask after I'm done with all 5 weight classes from this segment. So the first weight class that we're going to introduce is our 59-kilogram women's freestyle, Lexi Basham against Abigail Nettie. Lexi, you've had a really good year this year, winning the NEIAs and earning a spot in Final X. Could you talk about what things made a difference for you and helped you in this rapid rise on the senior level?
So as far as my college season going, I won a national title coming off a knee reconstruction surgery, so that was pretty tough in itself. With that being said, I have to thank my coaches and great practice partners. Without them, I wouldn't be here. But other than that, it really comes down to mental toughness. I was in the gym every day, even after surgery. I wasn't going to give up. I was in there working upper body, doing everything I could. And then I wanted to get back on the mat as soon as possible. I had surgery in February, was back on the mat in June, wrestling in July. So as far as that goes, I really think it just comes down to mental toughness and having the right coaches to push you and get you there.
Thank you, Lexi. Abby, talk a little bit about how you feel you've improved since completing your college career and joining the Army, and what part of your game do you think has improved in your new training situation?
It's a good question. Well, I think the main part of my game that I believe has improved is my mentality. I learned to love the sport, whereas before it was almost like a chore, especially in college, and coming out of college. And then COVID happened, and it was a very interesting time, especially like leading up to trials. I wasn't in love with the sport anymore. And then, sorry, I'm a little nervous here. And then leading up to this past year, my coaches and my team, they really have been a backbone for me, And then even those places that I've been before, they weren't, not that they weren't backbones to me. I truly am grateful for all those people, but I think now I just learned how to push myself to a greater level. And that level is just, it's being better than I was before, and I can't thank my coaches enough for helping me get to this point.
Thank you, Abby. Our next weight class is 82 kilograms in Greco-Roman. Ben Provisor against Spencer Woods. Ben, could you talk a little bit about your decision to return to college at this part of your career, and just how being at Grandview's helped you and kept you focused not only on, being a student again, but also keeping your passion for competing?
Yeah, I think it was interesting going back to school after 13 years of not being in school. Honestly, it's more a decision because I want to become a coach. I want to give back to who I feel helped me so much. And the big thing, I know God put me here to wrestle, and I feel like I'd be doing Him a disservice if I didn't go and help others in that field. And it's just honestly been great. This year for folk style, I came off with a torn RCL and a torn rotator cuff in my shoulder, so I didn't really get to have a folk style season. But now that I have, my Serbian coach, Milan, I've been growing and getting so much better, getting in, sort of learning the European system. Because if America doesn't dominate Greco. And I've just been trying to try to learn as much as I can from him. And then, it's just been nice because at first I was going to be a sports management major, but then I saw that that's like pretty much just a business, and I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not trying to be in business. And I've also had a lot of friends who have come from like a bad background. Even my people I've been with have come from like harder backgrounds. So I changed my major to psychology so I can help myself and help others in that situation when I become a coach.
Let me try that again. Sorry. Thank you, Ben. Spencer, you're going to be competing against an opponent you wrestled recently, and just want to ask you some of the things that you do when you come off a challenge and have to face the same opponent with a lot more on the line.
Well, I just have to say that I love this. This is my dream job. I love to fight. I love to challenge myself. And Ben is an established wrestler in the sport. And, it's an awesome opportunity, I feel like, to challenge him.
Will you be bringing anything new this time? Or you don't want to, share any good secrets?
It's new every time. We can all agree, each match has become closer and closer to those barn burners that we all love to watch. And tomorrow, it's going to be the same thing.
Thanks a lot, Spencer. Appreciate that. Our next weight class is 57 kilograms in men's freestyle. Thomas Gilman versus Vito Araujo. Thomas, last year was a big year for you. You had the experiences at both the Olympic Games and the World Championships pretty much back to back. What's your takeaways from last season, and how's that going to help you now and for the rest of this quad?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is we're in the present. The past is the past, and we're in the present. There's work to be done right now. Just listening to Coach Kale talk every day, just kind of gives me peace of mind. And I'll always be a world champion, always be an Olympic medalist. That's something that no one can ever take away from me. So there's no sense in protecting it. It's in the Tupperware in the basement, and you can come and get it. But good luck with that. But no, I'm kind of being funny. But just trying to be free and be present. And, me and Vito have some history going back to this time last year. And, we've both grown since then in different ways. And, both on the mat and off the mat. Not to speak for him, just for myself. And I'm excited to just be present and wrestle, these matches just in the present, because there's history and then there's results. But, it's not fair to open up old wounds either. So just, I'm just excited to wrestle. He stepped up when a lot of guys could have. So I'm very thankful for him to be here.
Thanks, Thomas. And Vito, a follow-up on that conversation is, since last year trials, this is another opportunity for you to make the senior team. And what kind of things have you done, and how have you improved from this time last April when you were in the Olympic trial finals?
Getting ready for the Olympic trial finals, the Olympic trials last year was, there was a lot of less on my plate. I took a year off from college wrestling. That year forcefully I got, the year taken away. But I was very, very focused on my training. And this year I returned back to classes, and there's a whole lot more on my plate, but it just kind of puts a lot more stress on me, and I feel like I work better under stress, and I feel like I've kind of jumped from one thing to the next, and I've just given this my full attention now, and I feel like I've prepared pretty well for this. Like Thomas was saying before, we have had our scraps last year, and I think looking forward to this match. As soon as I got off the mat at NCAAs, this was my focus, and I've given this everything that I've had, and confident in the amount of training that I've put into it, and ready to let it loose tomorrow.
Thanks, Vito. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Our next weight class, 55 kilograms in Greco-Roman. Max Nowry against Brady Kuntz. Max, you've been to World Championships. You've been in medal matches there. How do you approach the opportunity to make another team and get another shot at a goal you've had since you were a kid? And how important is making this team to you at this point in your life?
Well, 2019 left a little bad taste in my mouth. On the verge of winning a medal and fell short. And then last year in Oslo, made a stupid mistake in my second match that cost me. And those are learning opportunities if you make it a learning opportunity. And I think the lack of competition got to me a little bit with COVID and our lack of competition schedule. But lately, being able to compete a lot more, everything's starting to fire back on all cylinders, and I look forward to trying to represent the U.S. Again at the world level and getting a medal. It's very important to me to bring Greco back at a competitive level internationally. The men and women's freestyle has been killing it. They did awesome in Tokyo and they did awesome in Norway. We had one medalist with Tracy Hancock, and looking to build onto that leading to the future.
Thanks, Max. I appreciate that. Brady, you're back with another opportunity to make the senior world team. And could you talk a little bit about your training situation, the people that have helped you get to the spot you are right now in your Greco career, and who you credit for helping you advance to where you could possibly go and compete for a world medal for us?
I think I got to thank my Ohio State coaches. They've done a great job with letting me and my brother and any other guys that train Greco do that in the off season, and they're very supportive of it. And we've got some great Greco guys out there that we can train with. I think having a twin brother that's basically the same weight as me, just one weight class bigger, helps a lot with just getting better and figuring stuff out and fine-tuning stuff. Obviously growing up with Dennis Hall as a club coach, and working with him basically all my life, had a huge impact on all of my Greco development.
How do you feel your wrestling is now in comparison to the last couple of seasons? Are you feeling that hard work and progress is starting to show on the mat for you?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I've made a lot of changes, focused on some areas I need to get better at, and I feel ready.
Thank you. Our next weight class is 61 kilograms in men's freestyle. Dayton Fix against Seth Gross. Seth was one of the athletes that was delayed, so if he's able to come to the next segment, we're going to bring him in here. So I do have a question for Dayton, and obviously, Dayton, it just seems like you're wrestling all the time, right? Olympic trials and then the World Championships where you won a medal, back to the college season. How do you keep yourself sharp and stay motivated and keep the edge that you need to be a champion?
Well, wrestling's what I love to do, so it's pretty easy to stay motivated. My goal is to win Olympic and gold medals, so that's motivation right there every day. I wake up and come to practice and I see all the world Olympic champions that have come through Oklahoma State, and that's just motivation for me every day.
I know you wrestle in this building a lot, but Will it be fun to do some freestyle here and to hear the Cowboy fans cheering you on as you try to get another shot at a world medal?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's pretty well known that I love, freestyle. It's definitely my preferred style. So, I'm excited to go out there and do what I love in front of, a bunch of people that have always supported me. And I'm just, looking to give back by going out there and taking care of business.
Thanks a lot, Dayton. At this point, I'd like to open it up to the members of the press. If you could please raise your hand and ask a question. Identify who you want to speak to and where you're from, and let's talk to these great athletes. Thank you.
Question for Vito, Christian with FloWrestling. Watching Gilman go on to win Olympic bronze and a world medal. You guys met in the Olympic trials finals, of course. 2 pretty competitive matches. He won both of them. Seeing that and seeing Thomas's success afterward, was that like extra fuel in the fire that you're on the cusp to yourself of potentially winning world and Olympic medals if you can make the team?
Yeah, obviously I was sitting at home watching those and watching all of his success that he's had on the world stage, and it's kind of bittersweet because obviously we're as a team as the U.S. We're going out there sending the best guy, which was him last year, and he's having success out there, but at the same time those are one point matches on both sides that that should have been me. So I'm sitting there at home like, wow, this kind of sucks. But I get my chance of redemption this year, and I'm sure it'll be a battle, and I'm glad to know that if I do beat him, that once I get to the world stage, there's not many guys who could have beat this guy. So it's pretty reassuring.
Next question back there.
Hi, I'm Laura Lay with Reaper Wrestling, and this question is for Lexi Basham. Lexi, it's really exciting to have a young up-and-coming college wrestler like yourself here on the senior stage. You've proven to be a champion on so many levels in the state of Texas in high school, on the college level as an NAIA national champion, and now here on the senior level, World Team Trials as a finalist. All doors are open to you. Considering that there's been a recent turnover of leadership at Texas Wesleyan University, what's next for you? Perhaps it's staying at Wesleyan, maybe looking for a new program. What insight can you give us?
At the moment, it's really hard decision. We have no answers from anybody as far as right now. They've obviously been doing interviews. We've got no feedback on as far as a new coach goes. I'm lucky enough to still have Ray and Lazo in my corner here with me right now and back in Iowa. As far as that goes, it's a hard decision. Sorry. It's heartbreaking. It's hard because we're all in hopes that Lazo gets the job. If that's the case, I want to stay home with my partners and my coaches that got me here today. But it is tough because having a new coach come in, new leadership, the chemistry is going to be off, and we got to get our crap together, to go win a national title as a team, because that's my goal. So as of right now, my options are open, considering I don't know what the circumstances are, who's going to be walking through our doors. But our hopes are that Lazo gets the job.
Next question.
This is for Dayton. Knowing that you're wrestling Seth and knowing how unconventional he is there much preparation that goes into understanding some of his unconventional positions and knowing where he's dangerous?
Yeah, I've wrestled before. I think that whenever you wrestle guys that are kind of unconventional, it's important to stay solid. And I'm just gonna go out there and do what I do, and that's try to put up as many points as I can. And I think if I do that, I'll I'll have success.
Next question.
It's for Thomas. You've had success throughout your career, but no denying that you've had some of your best success recently. Can you talk about the changes in, over the years, personal and training, where you're at now at Penn State, that has made a difference in your wrestling?
Yeah, well, it's not podcast format, so we'll just stick with the most recent. Had a daughter back in December, so that's been pretty life-changing as far as, real life and then life in wrestling as well. My training schedules had to be adjusted, some late nights and early mornings and up all nights. So just, I don't know if I'm actually answering the question there, but my point here is, when you have a daughter or a son, you realize how insignificant the sport of wrestling really is. Obviously, it's what we all love to do, and it's a lot of fun, and we put out there on the line. But it kind of takes a lot of pressure off me. I used to think that was do or die. If I don't win, no one's gonna love me. I suck, and I might as well just go, pound sand. But I'm just excited to compete, and it's not really about winning and losing, even though it is about winning. Just looking to compete my best and my hardest and show my daughter that what it's like to be a true champion. It's not about winning or losing. It's about how you compete and how you keep your composure and stay humble and grateful and present. So a lot of that attitude kind of stems back to my move to Penn State. Wasn't too long ago, 2019, Dayton kind of kicked my butt at Final X, and I always think about that press conference, kind of ashamed, a little bit. I kind of ran my mouth, and I wasn't super humble, and I got humbled by him. And so, there's a lot that's changed in my life, and my mentality since then kind of helped coming to Penn State and just adjusting, my perspective and my mindset, and just trying to be humble and grateful. And for a guy like me who's kind of egotistical, it's an everyday process, and it's a struggle, but I'm trying my best. So two of the biggest things in my life right now are just my daughter and then that transition from Iowa to Penn State.
Thank you, Thomas. Other questions in the back?
Hi, this question's for Abby Nettie. Abby, you made a big life change, but also changing your training too, making the decision to join Army WCAP. Can you talk to us a little bit about your decision to join the WCAP program? Why you made that choice, and just considering there's so many opportunities that are opening up for young girls with the college scene and even beyond on the senior level. Why is WCAP a valid an important option that these young girls have, and either if they don't want to go to college, it being an option, or even someone like yourself who joined after college?
My answer to that is it's hard to say no to, honestly. When I was actually first talking to the coaches, one of my first questions is, wow, why do more people not do this if this is what it entails? It sets you up for the future, and that's why I joined, because I feel like a lot of people, whenever they finish wrestling, they finish their career and they're like, now what? I just finished my career. That was my entire life. Now what do I do? And I feel like the Army set me up for greatness, whether I succeed or fail. And at the end of the day, I really appreciate what Thomas was saying, because I agree with him. Wrestling is very important, but it's not everything, And I feel like joining the Army has also helped me realize that too. And also we have really great training partners, the coaches. Like I said before, they're a support team. They have my back no matter what. They're there to lift me up when I'm down, and they're there to lift me up even higher whenever I'm up. And I love the atmosphere. I love the people. They're really good people. So yeah, with that being said, it just set me up for the future. And I think more people should do it. I feel like they're just afraid to commit to it because it's the word Army on there, You're signing your life away for 4 to 6 years, and what's 4 to 6 years in the wrestling world, We're going to be wrestling either way, so why not join the Army, Set yourself up in the future. And that's what I did, and that's what I plan to continue to do.
Other questions? Well, at this portion of the press conference, we're going to break up into one-on-one interviews. Athletes, you may stay here, or they may ask you to move somewhere so that you're got a little bit of quiet and a little space. I'd like to ask all of you to stay at least 5 minutes or so, because there might be a journalist that wants to come back to you and talk to you after they speak with somebody else. And again, I'd like to thank all these athletes for not only coming here to help promote the sport, but wish them the best luck tomorrow in their quest to make the senior world team and to win Final X. So thank you very much, and let's go. Greetings. I'd like to welcome everyone to the last segment of our press conference today. For anyone who wasn't here earlier, I'd just give a little bit of explanation. We had a Forrest sighting, so when she gets in here, we'll put her up here with the rest of the team. But at this point, we've decided this year to split the press conference into 3 so that 10 athletes, 5 weight classes at a time, rather than try to have everyone up at the same time, and give us a little more time to chat, and also a little bit more attention on these athletes individually. The format for this will be similar to what we've done at other press conferences. I will ask one question. I'm doing good, Forrest. Is that what you wear in Arizona?
No, this is what happens when I bring the blizzard. You gotta dress for the weather.
Okay. Well, as I said, we will ask each athlete one question. Then I will open it up to the media. Please raise your hand, and we will bring a microphone to you. Tell us who you are and who you represent, and then we will ask the question, and we'll spend some time speaking to the athletes in that format. And then when that's done, we will then open it up for one-on-ones. Athletes, we may move you another part of the room. It's kind of tight up here, and so we'll kind of spread you around. If the journalist wants you to go to a corner rather than up here where it's crowded, it'll probably work out a little bit better. And then once we're done with that, then we'll be ready to rock and roll tomorrow. It's the best 2 out of 3 series, Final X. The winner goes to the World Championships for the United States at the senior level in Serbia. First session will be at 2 o'clock. It's the first round for all 15 weight classes. And then the second session, which begins at 7, will be the second and third match, if necessary, to determine who competes for Team USA this summer or this fall. So we'll start with the farthest weight class down at the end and work our way over to me. Our first weight class will be 55 kilograms in women's freestyle. Jenna Burkett against Jakara Winchester. Jenna, in Oslo, you had an opportunity to win a medal for the United States. It was obviously a big goal of yours and a great achievement. But how has that experience helped you as you approach not only this year, but the rest of the Olympic quadrennium?
It was a great experience, but it's a past experience, so I'm really not thinking too long on it anymore. We all come in here with new slates now, so it was a good experience to finally get a medal, get a little bit more hungry, but it's time to continue to hunt and get a new medal and improve upon it. So really not thinking about it any more than the day that it happened.
So how much better are you now than the day when you got on the podium?
Well, my tan has improved, so I'd like to think that I'm off to a strong start. So my eyebrows look pretty good. So I feel better. I feel excited. It's no opportunity. It's another opportunity. No moment's bigger than the next. So I'm ready. Yeah.
Thank you, Jenna. Jakara, we're here in Stillwater. You've trained here. You've worked with these coaches. You've spent time with the athletes and the people in this community. What are your thoughts heading into the tournament tomorrow and having an opportunity to compete here in Gallagher, Iowa?
I feel great. I've never competed in something this big. That sounds weird, but World Championships, there weren't a lot of people there. Same thing with Olympics. We had COVID, and I feel like there's not really a crowd like this crowd. It's I've been to some of the home duels, and it's great, just the energy, and it's great to be here and train here. They're very supportive. The people are great, and I just can't wait to put on a show.
Thank you, Jakara. Oh, by the way, you wrestled 53 at the Olympics. You're at 55 again. Just, is there any reason why you're up this year, or do you prefer this weight class? Is it where you feel like you're wrestling your best?
I feel like I wrestle the same either way, but this one I get to eat steak now. So usually I'm a pescatarian, and when I go 55, I can eat whatever I want and put ranch on everything.
Thank you, Jakara. Our next weight class, 92 kilograms in men's freestyle, Jaden Cox and Nate Jackson. Jaden, just like to ask you about your training situation up at Michigan and how the coaches, athletes, and the environment there has helped you prepare for Final X and another shot at a world championship?
It's been great. Sorry about the coordinate. It's been great. Still being with Coach Jackson has been really good for me, especially through a hard transition through everything. And all in all, it was a difficult decision to figure out where to go. But at the same time, the guys are very accepting. You have great people there, not just as far as just on the mat and guys that can be, who are talented, but also away from the mat. And it's become a place that I could really, grow all together. And that I could really see myself growing and be a part of that culture, that community. So it's been actually really awesome. And to work with those guys has been great. And to get to work with them before the Nationals, even helping them try to achieve some of their goals, was awesome too.
Thank you, Jaden. Thank you, Jaden.
You're welcome.
We'll try this. Is that better? Oh, thank you. Nate Jackson, let's look back to the beginning of the pandemic, and you wrestled a ton when the pandemic was on, and we've seen great leaps in your performances, and you're here now with an opportunity to make a senior world team. Could you talk about what you feel has been key factors in your rapid rise, and who are the people that have made a difference in your career in the recent years?
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy. I think the good thing is I wasn't very good when I first got to NJRTC, so it's easy to make jumps when you're not very good. But through my coach, Reese Humphrey, and just the ecosystem that we built there, I truly think it's the best in the country. So it's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. We challenge each other. We keep it pretty loose. We have a good time. So I'm trying to keep the good times going and continue to chase down our goals. We got big goals, and we're right in front of them, so it's fun.
92 kilos, is that Nate Jackson's best weight? Is that what you like being?
92 kilos is Nate Jackson's weight.
Thank you. Our next weight class will be 65 kilograms in women's freestyle. Forrest Molinari versus Mallory Velty. Forrest, make another world team, you're going to have to beat someone who has also been a world medalist. I know you like big challenges, and just talk about how you prepare for the opportunity to go against another tough opponent.
It doesn't change. The process is always the same. I'm trying to be the best in the world, so it doesn't matter who's across from me. I'm trying to take them out and show that I'm the best.
And how has your preparation gone for this year?
I think, Tokyo was definitely a hard one. Just being out there, and knowing I wasn't the girl that was stepping out on the mat. That's a tough pill to swallow and have to try to help the team, even though you're the one who wants to be out there competing. After Tokyo, something changed, like a different switch flipped, and I've seen tremendous growth that, it's been exponential. And usually when you're getting better, you have growth and you plateau. I haven't seen that plateau yet. I've just gotten better and better since last summer, and I'm very excited to show you guys some new stuff. It's going to be fun.
Thank you, Forrest. Appreciate you. Mallory, many years you were at a different weight class, wrestled 62 kilograms, and you're at 65 now. Just talk about the decision to move up and how that's affected maybe your training or your preparation and other things that have been factors in getting you back to Final X and another shot at a world team.
Unlike Jakara, I don't really like ranch, but I do like to eat. So going up was a no-brainer. I wrestled 63. That's where I made my first world team. And then we changed the weight classes. I went 62 for a long time. Got the automatic berth the next year, so that kind of put me at 62 again. So it was nice to have a decision this time on what weight class I wanted to go. And I was happy to make the decision to go 65 and be strong.
And tell us about your training situation now at West.
I was training at Simon Fraser University in Vancouver, BC, which is where Dominique Parrish, who's in the 53 kilos, she trained there. Helen, Vicky, so it was a really great place to be. But through COVID, Canada shut down. I had to move up, and I knew that the Beaver Dam was the only place I was going to move to with Nate Angle, my best coach. He's there with us every day, and
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. There at Oregon State, we have really good things going, and I love my teammates, I love my coaches, and I'm really happy to be there.
Thank you very much. Our next weight class, 97 kilograms, Kyle Snyder versus Colin Moore. Kyle, you've been very consistent for a long time, and I'm just curious if you could tell us how you're able to continue to put on great performances, yet find new ways to improve and motivate yourself for the season ahead.
Got great coaches and great training partners that push me, and I'd say the biggest thing is just my faith in God and wanting to live a pleasing life to Him. So, in everything that I do, I just do it as hard as I possibly can. So, that's my motivation, and that's why I continue to wrestle and train hard and compete hard.
Now, a lot of guys who've won medals and stuff compete only every once in a while, and you've never stepped away from a big winter tour or a tough tournament or another match against somebody in an all-star card. Is wrestling still a lot of fun for you? Do you still love the challenge of going out there? Because you do. You put it on the line a lot.
Yeah, I'd rather compete than train. You know, training's fun, but competition is really what I look forward to, and it's hard for me to train for, 3 months in a row and not have a competition. So I'm always looking to compete and want to wrestle the best guys. So that's the most fun part of wrestling for me.
Thank you, Kyle. Colin, the man you're sitting next to, you used to train with daily. You guys are in the same room and are on the same teams and trained for a long time. How do you approach having to compete against him with a spot at the World Championships? And you've done that before, obviously, in the Olympic trials and other big events. So how does knowing the opponent that you're wrestling very well affect the way that you get ready for this?
Yeah, I think, well, it's been a long time since we've been on the same team together, and I think we both changed a lot. Both gotten better and do different stuff, so it's not like I'm going out against a guy I train with in the room every day still. So it's been a couple years, and yeah, I'm just excited every time to wrestle him. He's one of the best in the world, and I got to beat him to make the team and accomplish my goals. So.
The last year you tried out for the team in two weights, 92 and 97. Talk about 97 being your weight. Obviously, this is the Olympic weight, right? Could you still go down to 92 if you chosen to wrestle here because it's just the place that you do your best? Just a little bit about that.
Yeah, 92 was never a tough cut for me. 97, like a lot of people mentioned, I get to eat pretty consistently, kind of whatever I want. And like you said, it's the Olympic weight. So I want to wrestle in the Olympics, and the trials process is tough. So I want to make the team. I want to medal at Worlds and sit in the finals at the Olympic trials.
Thank you, Colin. Appreciate it. Our final weight class with athletes, 68 kilograms, women's freestyle, Tamara Mensah-Stock and Sienna Ramirez. Tamara, I'm going to ask a pretty big question. How's your life changed since Tokyo, and how excited are you to go out and wrestle tomorrow?
My life has changed a lot. I get to talk a lot more to people, and I didn't realize how much talking was just so exhausting. I'm so sorry for all the long conversations I put y'all through. Talking is exhausting. But, well, I guess I used y'all as practice. So it hasn't changed a lot, but honestly, I'm just excited to be here, and I forgot the second part of your question.
Well, you like having fun with wrestling, and tomorrow's a big match. And is this going to be fun for you to compete again? I haven't seen you in the last few months on a competition match, so is this something you're fired about?
Is it Sienna? Is it Sienna? Yeah. If Sienna's not mean, yeah, we can have fun, as long as she doesn't slap me.
Sienna, I'm going to ask you another pretty wide question. I mean, I'm pretty sure the wrestling community, nationally and internationally, don't know a lot about you or the program at Southern Oregon, and would like to hear a little bit about what's going on there that's so good, because there's been so much success for you this year, and with the people coming out of that part of the country. So, what's keys to you being able to qualify for Final X?
I'm from Southern Oregon University. I've been there for the past 5 years. I've been coached by Joel Gibson, Tucker Van Meter, Bob Bergen, Tyler Winter. And this past year, I had the opportunity to train and to compete with, or to train and to be coached by Mal. I think the support system that they have there is huge, and then just from both the community and the university has been a huge part of the success.
Coming into this year, did you perceive yourself, getting to Final X, getting a chance to compete against an Olympic champ and make a world team? And was that one of the goals you set going into this season?
I think it's always been like a goal of mine in my wrestling world, but every year I always had injuries and I never got the opportunity to compete. So my senior year, I was like, oh, let's just go and try. And I just keep getting on the planes, going out wrestling, and here I am.
Thank you very much. Well, I think at this point we'll open up for some questions. Have a microphone here for the journalists. If you could raise your hand, explain who you are and where you represent, and ask each athlete specifically a question, and let's let her go. Thank you.
Question for Nate Jackson. You made, seemingly a pretty calculated decision to be pretty overtly confident about this matchup, you versus Jaden. You guys wrestled a year or so ago. It was a 6-1 win for Jaden. What has you so confident right now that it's going to go differently tomorrow?
I think I've grown into the weight. That's a big difference, but it's just been more time. So I've been getting a lot better. I know I haven't been talking to you guys for good reason, because I haven't earned it. But if you know anything about me, I'm the most confident person that you're going to meet. When I walk into a room, that's just what I am. I believe in myself because I'm a dog. I know what I've been through, and I know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a reason. So I think, it's been a lot of talk, but it's just me being myself. When I'm behind the camera, I'm just talking. I'm being honest with you guys. And then the fruits of the work will speak for themselves. So that's what I'm excited about.
Thanks.
Next question.
I was wondering if, Forrest, you could repeat what you were saying when you walked in about how you picked out your outfit and kind of what it means.
Well, I feel like I need to top each year the year before, and I heard there was a blizzard warning down here in Stillwater, so I need to come prepared for the weather. This beautiful hat you see here is from Russia. I got it the first year we went to Krasnoyarsk, and I had it custom made for me. It's made out of Arctic fox, so it's very warm. And, you got to be prepared. Storm's coming. I'm going to be ready to go.
Yeah, this one's for Jakara. Jakara, you won a world title in 2019. You come back. Everybody took the year off in between, but you come back and lose a crazy, one of the best 3-match series we've seen in a long time to Jenna at the 2021 World Team Trial. She went on to win a medal. How much has that been on your mind since, and how much have you wanted to get this bun back?
Damn, dog, you gonna come at me with that? It's cool. Now,
Much
it was
respect.
a necessary loss, like some people, she came to wrestle. That day I didn't. I didn't really want to be there. I thought that I had to wrestle because I would am I not going to get paid if I don't go? So turns out that I did not need to wrestle. The rules were unclear, and I was still going to be number one at 53 kilos. So it's just life lessons, knowing don't step on the mat if you're not ready to compete. And the person who wants it more is going to be there and show up. I lost each one in the last few seconds, and I won each one in the last few seconds. And I just think it's going to be a different match and different fight because we both want to be here. And I just think it's going to be different, and it was very necessary.
Hi, I'm Laura Lay with Reaper Wrestling, and my question is for Sienna Ramirez. Sienna, you're 2021 NAI champion. You placed third this year, and at the U.S. Open and Challenge Tournament, you showed us that you are ready to seize the moment. And anyone that watched your recent performances could say that you're a very good opportunistic wrestler. And how do you go about creating successful opportunities going up against an Olympic champion?
I think mental preparation is huge. Just having, like Jakara, I think said, just having that attitude to go get it and just to keep wrestling until the 6 minutes are over.
Next question.
This is for Kyle Snyder, your teammate at the NLWC. Thomas Gilman talked about how being at Penn State has really helped him get or helped him become a better wrestler. And a lot of it was personal and off the mat stuff, and just it's a great environment. I was wondering if you could also talk about what it was like transitioning over to the NLWC and how it's got you where you are.
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of great athletes there. Dave, Gilman, Zane, Nolf, Gomez, Bexad, McIntosh is back training. So, we just have a lot of Varner, Kale, a lot of guys to train with that can really push you. So, I mean, anytime you have that many people who really believe they can be Olympic and world champions every year, then everybody's just going to get better. And it's going to be a very intense environment, and that's what I love. I like training against people that really push me, and all those people can do it. So, and also it's just everybody really loves wrestling. Like, it's not a burden to come into practice, but it's what we look forward to. So, that's another thing that is good for development.
Hey, this question's for Jaden. Jaden, earlier in the interview, Nate said, you guys used to train together. He said maybe he left NJRTC had something to do with your feels of him, but he said we would have to ask you. So I wanted to ask you.
I have no idea what Nate said because I don't pay attention to anybody else but me. So I don't know. But no, my reasons for leaving really didn't have anything to do with the NJRTC. I mean, I love Nate and I respect Reese. Love them both to death. I mean, there's nothing bad I can say about them. I actually, look up to these guys both as, not just, athletes or at the time teammates, but as men, as, fathers and husbands, how they've carried themselves through their lives. So it had nothing to do with that. It had stuff more so to do with, me and how, when I prayed and I thought about where I wanted to be and what I needed, and I actually thank them because they restored something in me that I missed for a year, and that was enjoying wrestling. I was so stuck in being angry and upset, and they took that out of me. They gave me a new revival, and I am forever grateful for that, and I appreciate them for that. But at the end of the day, I'm no longer angry and I'm no longer upset. Let things be bygones be bygones. But I have a commitment to that man in the back, KJ. And I know my daddy always told me, you wrestle for yourself and nobody else, and that's true. But I do that every time. But when I one day stand on top of the Olympic podium, as an Olympic gold medalist, I want the man that I look to my corner and I'm proud of that. I want that man to be Kevin Jackson. Through what we've been through, I think, and I just believe in I believe in what he's taught me. We've seen the fruit of its labor already, and we know that we can get better and better and better, and we continue to get better and better and better, And yeah, we had a setback last year, but that was because of me. I refused to wrestle. I didn't get the job done. I didn't do those things, and I went back and I watched that match again and again and again. And every time that I wrestled, things good happened for me. Every time I didn't, nothing good happened for me. So it just taught me a lesson. But no, leaving the NJRTC was more so like I had a commitment, and when I prayed about it and I thought about it, when I thought about moving to the NJRTC or even to Arizona State, because that was another option, like for some reason an abundance of fear just came over me, and that wasn't it didn't feel right. But then when I prayed about it, and asking God, like, is this the place for me? There was a peace, there was a calmness about it. It was like, this is meant for you. This is what you need to do. And you're ready for this right now, and you can do this. And then as soon as the day one, when I walked in there, had my first workout there, I knew that I was ready. I knew that this is where I need to be. We're back on track. Let's get the train rolling. Let's do what we do best. And let's end our last year in 92 as a world champion.
Thank you.
Other questions?
This question is for Mallory Velty. At the Beaver Dam RTC, you'll have 3 women in the Final X finals with you, Alyssa Lampe and Skylar Grote. And up in Corvallis, you've even had Adeline Gray, who was training up there prior to the Olympics, and also Alex Glade. Can you talk about your time at Beaver Dam, how it's affected or changed your approach? You've also been coaching, doing coaching at Southern Oregon University. Just talk about mixing it up for yourself and how that's helped your game.
Yeah, so training at the Beaver Dam, I didn't really know what to expect, but definitely exceeded any non-expectation I had, because being there with Alyssa, who is amazing, Skylar, and especially Alex Glade, being with her through her recovery, because I've been through an ACL reconstruction, I know that, and it's been really kind of full circle for me to support her through hers, and see her back on the mat this summer is going to be super awesome. And so I'm not someone who can think about myself every day and train selfishly like that. And so it's been really nice to have other people to support, to be able to coach, to be able to be good teammates to other people, to support others on their journey while I'm on my own, because that's what's rewarding and that's what makes me want to wake up in the morning. So I love being there. Yeah, I'm happy to be there.
And then similarly with Forrest Molinari, Sunkist Kids has 4 women being represented in the Final X finals. Can you talk about what that means for Sunkist, for yourself, to be part of a strong group of women that are representing on the stage?
Well, first, I'd like to say that I think Sunkist Kids is the best wrestling club in the world. Someone just throw that out there. Shout out Kim and Art. Yeah, I mean, you got to look at the room we got. That's one hell of a room right there. Olympic world champ Helen Morales, multiple-time age group world medalist, world silver, Kayla Miracle. I finally got myself on the podium, got a bronze medal. And then Dom's coming up right now. You better watch out for her. She's mean as shit. So, that's a hard room. And then Maya was there, too. Maya's got to get some stuff done, get healed up. But, yeah, that's a room, all right. And just the environment we got going, we're all trying to show we're the best in the world, and we're all dogs in a different way, in our own personal way. So when you're just in an environment like that, it feeds off each other. I mean, you guys all know that, and everyone that's talking up there probably feels the same way about their room, and that's why we're all sitting here. And there's a lot of medals at this table. It's damn hard to make an American team, right? So, everyone feels the same way about their club, and it's been great out there. I really love Arizona. What Mark Perry's doing out there is changing the game big time, so you guys better watch out. But yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of Sunkist RTC girls and men on the world team this year.
This is for Jenna. Jenna, compare your confidence level, last year heading into the best 2 out of 3 versus this year heading into the best 2 out of 3.
I would say the confidence is equivalent. I'm just excited. I would say I would have thought I was more hungry. Maybe I would think I'd be more hungry last year because I was so ready for that revenge and just losing to Helen so dramatically and wanting to itching to get on it. But it's been really excited to evolve and the hunger to continue, but in a different way. Like the level of appreciation for what I do is so much higher. There's no I have to do it. I just genuinely love this. I love my job. I love my program. And it's, like everyone was saying earlier, but it would mean a lot to bring a gold medal to WCAP. It meant a lot to bring a bronze medal home. So a gold medal, so I have that, just that appreciation. I think in the past you'd kind of, roll into these events and not take it all in. I just feel like I'm breathing this all in as just another great opportunity, and I'm excited. So the confidence is just as high, but I'd say I'm appreciating all the moments a lot more.
This one's for Tamira. Over here.
I think she knows where she is.
This is press conference. So there was a lot of talk last year about you taking your karaoke machine over to Tokyo and Just Dance, and I got an opportunity to see those at some point. Is that like happening this weekend? Are you karaokeing? Are you just dancing to keep yourself kind of cool until it's go time?
That's funny that you asked that, because yesterday me and Jakara were dancing while we were working out. We were dancing to a song that I play on Just Dance called, what is it, Jakara? Is it called Buscando? And I think that's what it's called. It's a Spanish song.
They're not acting me.
But I don't stop dancing. I don't stop having fun, because life is supposed to be full of joy, right? Even in this hella hard sport. So I try to find joy in everything that I do. And when I go home, me and my husband are gonna sing karaoke, because that's how we do it.
Any other questions at this point? Hearing none, I want to thank everyone for coming. We're going to go on the one-on-one part of this press conference. Journalists come up and see which athlete you'd like to chat with, and feel free to move to other parts of the room so we're not all crowded up. And I'd like to thank all of our athletes for coming today and helping us promote Final X and sport of wrestling. And appreciate you all, and want to wish you a great day tomorrow, and thank you very much for all that you do.
Thank you, Gary.